What's going on, guys? This is Brian from Paint Society Uncut, and we got a project for you guys today from the home garage. Check it out. You might remember this Honda CR-V. We sprayed these fenders with rattle cans, that's right, and they're still looking pretty good. Now the hood could use some work, but coming over on this side, I gotta say, not a perfect color match, but really did the job of the project. Now this full car could use a full paint job, as you can see, but let me show you what we're working on today. And we're gonna be putting some paint on these quarter panels. Drew went ahead and fixed up some minor rust in this area and some dents. We went ahead and primed everything in black. Now on this side, it's the same situation. He fixed up a little bit of rust in this area and we are good to go. So I figured this is a great opportunity to show you something from home and show you how to do a little tips and tricks that, well, wouldn't really necessarily be warranted if you were working in a shop, but it's good for you guys to learn. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing a burn-in on this sail panel area, and you should be really taking it all the way over for the best proper repair. But since we have peeling paint in this area and on the other side, we don't want to get into all that. We just want to take the opportunity to show you how it's done. So the same thing over here. All this is starting to kind of fade out, and we'll do a burn-in right in this area. So let's get right to it. I'm gonna mask this up and we'll get right into the paint. All right, so you saw on this one real quick, I masked it up and I back masked in here, which I'll show you on the other side in real time. And then I just run tape along the edge. If this is a real world situation, we're doing a real repair, you want to go ahead and get that window removed so you can get paint underneath, and you're going to want to blend into this door. We understand wholeheartedly that the paint might not be 100% match, but like I said, once more, for the particular project, we just want to get paint on it so it looks all consistent and not black and patchy. So if you come over to this side, what we're going to do is we're going to run that tape inside the door edge, which I'll show you right now. So basically we're going to take our 1.5 inch tape and we're going to back mask, meaning we're going to reverse the way the tape lays on the actual panel. Then we're going to make sure our tape is on the outer edge of the door, and be very patient, work little sections at a time. This is going to eliminate the need for that soft edge foam tape. So then we'll just come on this side and we'll kind of give it like a little bit of a pull. And what we've done effectively is we created a nice soft edge and we've sealed the door in. So this whole area where the primer is sanded with like a 800 grit. You can do between 600 and 800 depending on the color. And we have in this area 800, okay? And then I did 2000 in this area, okay? And the whole object of this is to gradually refine that scratch until you get to the point where you're burning it in. Now the reason why this isn't recommended is because the clear has to be so thin at the burn-in edge that eventually when the sun comes out, it's gonna eat that edge back and deteriorate. If you do it good enough, it's gonna last you a good while, but all burn-ins eventually are gonna have failure. There's just no way around it. They're gonna eventually fail, whether that's 3 years, 5 years, or next month if you don't do it properly. But I'm gonna show you here how to do one if you just need to get by on something maybe a little bit older like this. So then we're gonna do 3000 at the edge on my burn-in, okay? So we'll put 3K. And what 3000 is gonna do is gonna clean up that paint, and right where my blending solvent goes, where I'll show you later, is where you'll have that 3000. Now, the one thing I never want you to do, ever, never burn in up to a hard line. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. You never wanna put a piece of tape, nothing. You always wanna keep it open. If you put a piece of tape or something hard, you are going to set yourself up for a line that's never gonna buff out. So we're gonna use 3000 Trizac and just some water, and we're gonna take it about maybe 2 inches above that 2000 area where it ended, right there. So we're never gonna wanna tape or leave this edge. So what I'm gonna do is just tape it on one side, pull up the plastic, and then I'll wrap it back underneath. And this is gonna kind of create a soft edge, okay? Just like that. And then give the plastic a little bit of pull. And this way, overspray can travel under. We're more likely to be able to buff and sand down overspray rather than a hard line of overspray. Just the way that paint works. Now, I always like to write so I have a visual aid of what's going on. So my base is going to come to about right here. So I'm gonna write B for base is gonna end, and I'll draw a line. Now, moving up further, I want my first coat, okay, of clear to end around here, okay? And then my second coat, maybe about another 3 or 4 inches, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll do kind of like my little dots. I write little dots here, and that's where I want to do my blending solvent. Now we're gonna have to buff this no matter what. So I'm giving myself at least 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches of difference between coats, so we can kind of transition and thin out that clear enough so we can just burn it in. So today we're going to be using our Q5. Now I feel like this is a way to redeem myself because, well, this was the first time I was using it on our last Honda Civic project. I didn't know too much. So here's some changes we made. First off, we went with the 1.0 tip. Now I had a 1.3 before, and with the 1.3 it was just really getting too much material on the actual panel. And I learned that a 1.3 with a conventional setup is normal, but when you go over to the turbine world, it's just too much. The other thing I did is I fitted this up with a 3M PPS adapter. I'll put this in the description as well so we can use the PPS. Just a lot cleaner in my opinion and easier to use. Now, one more mistake I made, and thanks to the guys on YouTube in the comments, is that this flex hose is supposed to go at the end of the hose closest to the gun. That way you can give yourself flexibility while you're spraying, and while the standard hose with the plastic goes right into the turbine. So go ahead and power it up again, and I'm gonna run it around the 7.5, 8 mark. And I like to finesse it just a little bit. Barely hold the trigger and let the paint come out. Or you can go a little bit harder. So let's go onto the panel and let's start getting some paint going. So that first coat, we're just gonna take all the way over and a little bit beyond where our black primer is. So with that first coat, it laid down 100 times better than in the past just because we changed that fluid tip. Now with the first coat, we want to let it set up for about maybe a good 10 minutes. Let's take a look at the other side. And on this side, this is how it should look. Don't worry about covering all those spots just yet. We'll get those in the second and third. Just laid down that third coat, and I'm gonna turn off the lights. And I got my sunlight from Astro. It's a great way to tell if I need more coats. So the idea is to look over it with the lights off, and you can see, hey, is it kind of light in some areas? Sometimes there are areas that you can't see. When spraying in conditions that are unfavorable, this is a good way to really just give yourself an idea of how your coverage looks. And I gotta say, it looks really good. We're gonna allow this to flash for another good half hour before clear, and then we're ready for our clear coat. So we're ready for clear now. I'm telling you guys, we're using Tamco products, small business, and I love supporting them. This is a 30-minute clear. Now we are running a 1.0. In the past, I told you we used a 1.3, and I think we put too many coats on. We put 3 coats on, but it was just too much fluid coming out, so it pinched a little bit. So I'm interested to see how this one works. Now this mixes 4 to 1, so I got myself my mixing cup, and I'll find 4 to 1 on here. Let's see, 4 to 1. So I'm gonna go to the first 6 and then to the next one, and that's gonna give me about 14 ounces, which honestly should be more than enough when using the turbine. Give it a little bit of a mix. Ready to hit up that second coat, and I'm gonna go a little bit slower on this. So what I realized is I need to move closer and slower to get that clear to atomize a little bit better. All right, so in real time, we need to go ahead and blend in that burn mark, or that burn in, the edge of the clear. So I'm gonna take my gun off. All I did is I used some extra slow reducer in this cup. I'm gonna switch it out. So after a couple hours, I'm gonna show you how good it looks. Really no dirt to mention, to be honest. It's super smooth. A little bit chunky on the orange peel, but maybe a little bit more working with the gun to dial it in. And of course, that could be just learning how to dial in a gun a little bit more and the clear, getting a hang of it. But like I say, it's looking really good. Here we are just a few days later, and we're ready to clean up this clear. Now it looks great on camera, but we do have a little bit of orange peel that we want to flatten out, as well as, well, I got a little sagger right in here. I'm going to show you how to remove that. Now to do that, we're going to use the Toll Cut starter kit. It comes with a variety of different grits. We're going to go ahead, I find a 1200 might level this off pretty good. So we'll just take our sheet. Now, Toll Cut does not need to use any water, designed to use dry. So our run is right in here. We'll be able to see it more once we sand. And if we take a closer look, we can see the outline of it right here. So we're just gonna go ahead and keep on sanding it until it's nice and level. Now this was a minor run, that's why it came out so easy. Now we're gonna go ahead with 2000 on the whole rest of the panel. So right here we have our 1200. We're going to be using 2000 over here and the whole rest of the panel. We want to level it off a little bit. It's a little bit textured-y here, just a little bit, and the factory is a little bit more smoother. So we have our Super Bufflex 2000 grit. We have our block, and this can be used dry or wet. It's really up to you guys. So you can see, right, it still cuts when it's dry, but when you use water, it's gonna help a little bit to carry the sandpaper just a little bit further, and it's just gonna make the paper last just a touch longer. Now make sure you go ahead and wipe it down in between to see exactly what's going on. We can see that our texture is leveling off just a little bit. We don't want to level it off 100%. We still want a little bit in there. Just kind of want to make it a little bit smoother. Yeah, so this is 3,000 grit. So this was 2,000. We leveled most of it off. So it's going to make it easier to buff and it's make the scratch smaller. So pick up some water. You can't mess this up because it's only 3,000. Make sure you don't get anything on it, no rocks or anything. And you can kind of just go in X pattern. See how it's drying up? Put some water on it. Okay, go ahead. There you go. Once you feel like it's not gliding anymore, add some more water. There you go. I'll just finish up this area here. All right, go ahead. It's not hard, right? So once we buff this, this is gonna look really, really good. It's gonna be really smooth. All right, so we're gonna give it a wipe and it should all be pretty much uniform. Might be a couple spots that still have a touch of gloss, but for the most part, if it's nice and smooth, I mean, you're gonna be fine. All right, so basically this is our 3,000 grit. All right, we have our buffer and our compound pad. And with the friction of the pad and the cooperation of the compound, you guys gonna see, and Robert, that the shine's gonna come back. See how I first work it in and then I increase the speed? I'm gonna have my speed around probably 1,200 RPM by the time I'm done. The first coat, you just work it in. All right, so now we did the compounding already, right? So we're gonna move on to the polishing, and this is what will bring a little bit more shine. We got some polishing, they match up together. There you go. There you go. Yes, get it nice and controlled. Perfect. All right, let's wipe it down. That'll be the last spot. Now for our burn-in up here, we'll just use a little bit of polish. The whole point of the burn-in is not sand it. If you need to sand it, then you can use like a 3000 to lightly sand the overspray. And you probably are gonna need to because burn-ins are a little bit tough. But if you get it right, all you'll need to do is lightly sand it with 3000 and buff it, or not even sand it. So this is polish, it only needs a little bit of polish. I gotta say, it looks pretty good, and something we did in our home garage, and we use the turbine system, so we're really able to control the overspray. Now what I learned is that with a turbine, you wanna go ahead with a smaller tip. Before we used a 1.3 and here 1.0, and I could say probably a 0.8 would probably be a little bit better. So just keep that in mind when you're going to shop for the turbine. So we're learning every day as we go, and well, Robert learned a lot today, and he's a little shy, but hopefully he'll be able to help us on our next few videos. He's our neighbor, and well, he always sees me working and wants to learn something too. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys learned a lot. And guys, don't forget, this is Brian from Paint Society reminding you, don't overthink it.
It's just paint.
There we go. We'll see you guys on the next one. Let's check it out.